This presentation I developed is to help you understand the importance of playgroups and how they play a significant role in supporting families and overall outcomes for children. This information will focus on characteristic 3, quality practice framework for the school-based playgroups. I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners on the land on which we meet today. We pay our respects to the elders, past, present, and emerging, as they are the holders of the memories, the traditions, the culture, and the spiritual well-being of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples across the nation. In the spirit of reconciliation, partnership, and mutual respect, we will continue to work together with the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples to shape the well-being of families and children, which responds to the needs and aspirations of the community. Today, we are going to explore developing your knowledge and understanding of characteristic 3 of the quality practice framework for school-based playgroups and developing your knowledge and understanding of the focus areas of development. And that is venue accessibility, inclusive access to playgroup spaces, appropriateness of physical area for 0 to 5-year-old children, capacity of physical environment to facilitate connections, cost, condition, quantity of activities and resources, learning environments created, engagement, motivation of materials and resources provided, balance between the indoor and outdoor program activities, and lucky last is the opportunities for understanding natural environment and sustainability. Characteristic 3, physical environment, supports each child's access to indoor and outdoor environments that have adequate space, equipment, and facilities that are suitable and promote children's learning and development. A well-designed indoor and outdoor playgroup space is welcoming and easy accessible. It provides a well-resourced indoor and outdoor program with open-ended play equipment and resources. It also offers a range of commercial, natural, recycled, and also handmade materials. The resources reflect the diversity within the local and broader communities. And it also supports the health and safety of children, service staff, and families. The environment should be environmentally sustainable. There should be like age appropriate furniture, equipment that helps minimize accidents and support children's learning, growing independence, confidence, and self esteem. There should be also the promotion of an understanding, the respect for the natural environment. There should be lots of stimulating resources relevant to all children's cultures and communities. There should be rich learning activities. There should be learning activities through play that support children to also take risks and explore. Now we're going to move on to the framework. So on the left-hand side, you can see the quality practice domains, and we're focusing on 3, physical environment. Then focus area of development is the next column. And then up the top there's the level of quality. So there's not considered quality, considering quality, developing quality, and embedding quality. 3.1 looks at venue accessibility. So that embedding quality is the school venue is accessible, taking into account and addresses barriers to ensure access for all families. There are suitable public transport options, ample free parking close by, and suitable walkways. For example, for the walkways, you would expect that they are wide enough to be able to fit a pram down. Because as you know, probably most of the families that will be accessing your playgroup will come with a pram, a nappy bag, and probably lots of other things that they need to bring to playgroup. The next focus area of development is 3.2, inclusive access to playgroup spaces. So embedding quality looks at full inclusive access is available in getting to and around the playgroup space in both the indoor and outdoor areas. For example, that there would be accessible paths for all weather. The doors, the handles are accessible, and there's easy access to the toilet for all children and families accessing the playgroup. For this particular focus area of development, you would also consider that there were hand washing facilities, both inside and outside, that there was an appropriate nappy change area. There may be a breastfeeding space for families that are still breastfeeding children, that the children, have adequate space to be able to move indoors and outdoors. 3.3 looks at the appropriateness of the physical area for 0 to 5-year-old children. The embedding quality is that the playgroup is located in an appropriate space for 0 to 5-year-old children. For example, there's a fixed playgroup room with independent child access to resources. There's child-size furniture. It may be facilitated out of an OSH room. There's free flow indoor and outdoor, and it's a safe access. For example, there's not, lots of stairs that you have to climb to be able to get to the playgroup environment. The next focus area of development is 3.4, capacity of physical environment to facilitate connections. The embedding quality looks at consideration is always given for the capacity of the physical environment to encourage and facilitate connections and participation of children, parents, and actions taken to adapt the environment to suit all playgroup sessions. And what that means is that the playgroup should be a design of a large and flexible open areas, both indoors and outdoors, and it should be provided with suitable spaces for lots of physical activity. The environments should be adapted to ensure that children and families with specific needs can fully participate in the playgroup program. For example, if you have a child or parent that is in a wheelchair, they should be able to access the playgroup program as well. 3.5 is cost, condition, quality, and activities and resources. So embedded in quality looks at activities and resources provided are low cost, inclusive, and suitable, and of suitable quality and quantity, and it motivates engagement and encourage play to be transferred to the home environment. For example, there should be lots of crafts using recycling materials, loose parts, and open-ended materials. The playgroup should be provided with a range of materials, resources, and equipment that are from recycled, like I was saying before, loose parts, and simple, just homemade items. There should be safe shelving and storage areas that are provided from which children and families can access freely and access suitable quantities of equipment and resources. Resources and materials should offer challenges and experiences that reflect the ages, interests, and capabilities of all the children accessing your playgroup space. 3.6 is learning environment created. So embedding quality looks at creates an enabling learning environment which values people and learning foremost and offers stimulating resources relevant to all children's cultures and communities, rich learning opportunities through play and playful teaching, and support for children to take risks and explore. So, if I was to visit your playgroup environment, the things that I would look for would be that opportunities were provided for active, messy, and noisy play, as well as quieter play areas were created. There may be elements of the outdoor and indoor environment that provide opportunities to scaffold children's learning and development and enable appropriate risk taking for their age and stage of development. And then I would also be seeing learning environments that were planned with appropriate levels of challenge that encourage children to problem solve and maybe have some creative experiences attached to the learning environments. 3.7 is engagement motivation of materials and resources provided. So the embedding quality section looks at all materials and resources provided, motivate engagement in activity, and create opportunities for connections, including consideration of cultural resources. For example, different dress up clothes in clean condition, a good quantity of building blocks, a variety of cultural resources, multiple dolls, activities that foster inclusion, allows children to be a part of a group, learning how to share, take turns, and be flexible. The materials and resources should be able to be used for construction, manipulation, role play, or creative expression, enabling them to be used in a variety of different ways. So that's why loose parts are really, really great within a playgroup environment because children can use them for multiple different purposes, lots of different play spaces. They can really use their imagination to be able to create whatever resource they need out of the loose parts. Now we move on to 3.8, which is balance between indoor and outdoor program activities. So embedding quality section looks at that the area provides a well-balanced and resourced indoor and outdoor program with open-ended play equipment and resources. For example, offers a range of commercial, natural, recycled, and homemade materials. The resources reflect the diversity within the local and broader communities. So if I was to visit your playgroup environment, for 3.8, I would see that there was an outdoor and indoor spaces that offer both built and natural features and structures within your environment. I would also see that the resources reflect the diversity within the local and broader communities. So, for example, I may see some Indigenous play resources, some dolls, some artwork, for example. Or I may see some resources that reflect a particular culture of family that accesses your playgroup. For example, maybe there's a family from China, and there may be some resources that reflect their culture within your playgroup. Now, the lucky last one for characteristic 3, which is 3.9, and that's opportunities for understanding natural environment and sustainability. So the embedding quality looks at opportunities are regularly provided to support children and families to understand and respect the natural environment and the interdependence between people, plants, animals, and the land. So some of the examples that I would see within a playgroup environment but that meets 3.9 would be that information and resources about the environment and the impact of human activities on the environments is accessible to children and families. So you might have some information out on display for children to access. There may be information and ideas on sustainability and care for the environment that's shared with families. You would give maybe children and families the opportunity to participate in planned experiences that engage them in appropriate sustainability practices within the playgroup. For example, If they're using scrap paper and they're finished using that paper, you would have a bin just for paper recycling. So you would encourage children and families to access that recycle bin just for paper. You may have another bin for compost. So all food scraps, fruit and bits and pieces would go into the compost bin. You may have a worm farm, for example, that encourages families and children, after they use their compost, to put it into the worm farm area for the worms. There's lots of different ways that you can be demonstrating to families and children to care for the natural environment and those sustainability practices. Now, the next few slides, I just have some photographs of some environments that you can create within your playgroup space. So in this particular picture, you can see that there's a lot of wood, recycled materials, there's logs, there's plastic animals, there's books, for example, and there's lots of different little areas set up for the children to explore. Loose parts. So this is a picture of some examples of what loose parts can be. So loose parts are open-ended materials that can be assembled, combined, and manipulated in a variety of ways, and they have no predetermined play pattern. It's not like a little car that really only has one purpose, and that is to drive that car. Um, these resources allows for the materials to be redesigned and repurposed as the individual sees fit. They may be used alone or in addition to other materials. They can be synthetic or natural materials, and many treasures can be recycled items. You do have to remember that resources are to be age appropriate for the children participating in the playgroup, and explain to parents about the safety of using loose parts, and supervision is required at all times. Also role model how to use loose parts with parents, and explain that these activities can be used at home. That's the amazing benefit to loose parts, is that most of the time parents can find different items for children to play with that are inexpensive, that children can use in their home environment. Here's some more photos of some examples of loose parts and recycled materials. So as you can see on the picture on the right hand side, that's construction. So they've got egg cartons, they've got some cylinders. I think they used to be old tennis ball holders. There's boxes, there's wood pieces. All of those things, children can use their imagination and use that as construction. There's some photos on the left-hand side of a shop that someone has created, an art and craft area where there's some baskets and things and pencils. And then up the top, there's some weighing mathematical experiences for the children to participate in. Now, all of these resources you can put out in your school newsletter and ask for families to donate, or you can go to op shops, which are relatively cheap, and gain all these resources for your playgroup. Here are some other examples where there's rocks that have been collected to make some artwork. There's bits and pieces of wood that has probably been collected. There's pine cones with string, which looks amazing. One of my favorites is wine cork bottles, the corks out of the wine bottles, sorry, and that's used to pick up and put into egg cartons, which is a great fine motor experience. And then they can create an artwork within that egg carton, and you can take a photo of it, print it, and there's their copy of their artwork. It is a really great, effective way to provide low cost learning experiences within your playgroup. The playgroup facilitators, you should encourage parents to go walking with their children and collect items to bring and share at the playgroup. Also, you can maybe put a notice up on a community board within the school that parents can see also that asking for items to donate to playgroup, which is a great idea as well. This is one of my favorites. So, an open ended play space experience where someone has put all egg cartons up on the wall, and then they've given the children, some colored pom pom balls, and they've been able to create pictures or patterns, or however they would like to design their picture. And again, you can take a photo with your camera, print it out, and there's a copy of their artwork. Another picture to the left-hand side has been used with some leftover bits of cardboard, I think packaging from a box, and then they've placed some dinosaurs within there as well that the children can use their imagination and play with the dinosaurs. This experience has been recreated from a book. And it's We're Going on a Bear Hunt book. So you can see they've used bits of materials to recreate the book, which is a really effective play experience after you read the book or even before you read the book. Here's another example, low cost example again, open-ended play space where there's been a tree obviously and they've wrapped around a sheet to provide a little cubby and quiet space for the children to play in. This is, I'm going to leave you with this quote. It's one of my favorites. And it says that children don't need the perfect materials. They need to be empowered with the freedom to use the materials they do have to create the props they need for their play, which I absolutely love, which ties in really nicely with, having lots of loose parts and recycled materials within your playgroup environment. Okay, so that's the end of the PowerPoint session. Next, you will move on to some activities that have been created. So this activity will probably take you approximately 45 minutes. Just go to the website and it's called, which is the link there, and it's called the Empowered Educator. Then find 15 learning activities that encourage sustainability on that website and implement them into your playgroup over the next term or two. Then take photos of the experiences implemented into the playgroup environment and email me them so I can see all your amazing ideas. The next part of the activity is a reflection piece. So over all of these PowerPoint presentations that you will listen to, I'm encouraging people to learn how to self-reflect, reflect upon themselves, but also reflect on their playgroup space. And this really helps improve the quality of your program, your practices, and your overall playgroup environment. So this reflection activity is to use and to reflect upon your playgroup environment and to think about the types of toys, equipment, resources you have in your playgroup space, and then answer the following questions. So, is it appropriate to the children's abilities? Are the toys appropriate? Are the resources, are they simple and able to be used by children of different ages? Can you use it in multiple different ways? Do you have a mix of recycled materials? Are your resources open-ended? Do you offer a range of commercial, natural, recycled, and homemade materials within your playgroup space? Do the resources, toys, equipment reflect the diversity within the local and broader communities? Will it withstand constant and heavy use? Is it safe for all children, or will it need to be used in a restricted area, meaning that you may have to be supervising the particular activity at all times? Can the resources be easily cleaned? Does it encourage social interaction, or does the activity or resource to be used individually? Does it give opportunity to develop and practice new skills? Does it have scope for imagination and experimentation? Is it in line with the interests of the group of children? What is its value? Does it entertain, encourage physical play, foster creativity, or is it a tool for manipulative play? Oh, so this is the end of the presentation. I'd like you to thank you all for participating today. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. There's my email just listed on the PowerPoint, and I'll leave you with a favorite quote of mine. Children need the freedom to appreciate the infinite resources of their hands, their eyes, and their ears, the resources of forms, materials, sounds, and colors. Now, you can continue on to complete the activities for this module, and remember to access the next module for characteristic 4, which is staffing arrangements. Thank you.